chess and psychology. Today I decided to come to the chess club and dress up a little bit because, well, I'm very happy with my performance in the US Championship. So I kind of wanted to come here and kind of celebrate it a little bit with you guys because, yeah, you guys saw me do chess throughout all this pandemic, struggled with studies and everything. So I feel like I owe you guys that little bit of celebration. So here we are sitting in this beautiful Studio B. And I actually do have to pull up my games. I kind of forgot to do that. But yeah, there I am. Yeah, this was a particular, so I want to talk to you a little about the event because it was a very, it was very unexpected. Like I surprised myself with the result. But the truth is I didn't actually have that much of a hard time like finding the moves because the way I've been teaching you guys and my private students and the way I've just been doing chess is, well, to be honest, lazy chess. I'm not doing that much. I try to avoid calculation because I'm not like that strong in it because I don't do professional chess anymore. Don't tell that to my coach. But that's the whole point because I try to avoid calculation. I come up with the most practical and most logical moves and I calculate it a little bit. Like I make sure that there's nothing horribly wrong with it except for the round that I just gifted my knight. But that was a sad round. But besides that, every single other game, I was just trying to be practical. I was trying to annoy my opponent, and I was just trying to just make the game as hard as possible for my opponent to want to play it, and that kind of worked. I think another thing that was to my advantage was because I wasn't one of the real competitors, like from going in the tournament. I wasn't one of the people who someone would bet on. I don't think I would bet on myself for winning the tournament. I think that a lot of these players underestimated me, and because I don't really play professional competitive chess, they kind of imagined that I wouldn't remember how to, but they forgot that I've been doing chess with you guys all throughout like last 6 or 7 months. So I think that has had a big impact on me. So I do owe a huge thank you to the St. Louis Chess Club for having me teach this much and to you guys for keeping me motivated to come up with better material and show up. So thank you, everybody. And definitely a huge thanks to the cat, obviously, for being cute. So another thing that I wanted to slightly clarify, I don't know if I see a little bit of in the chat about my cat jumping. He was jumping when I had 1 minute on the clock. That scene was middle of the game. He didn't do that after the game. I had 1 minute, and that specific round, he was so noisy and impatient, and that specific round, I was just like, oh my God, Tatev is gonna complain because she probably could have heard. And I was like, if she complains, she has every right to. I don't know what I'm gonna say besides, I'm so sorry, I have a weird cat, he's being playful. But like I had 1 minute and he was just jumping all around. So once I tried to stop him, and then he fell down and he just ran away, and then he was quiet for that. But yeah, thank you for all of your positivity and support. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, it was a lovely tournament for me. But yeah, that little cat scene, oh my God, he was so I don't think the viewers had access to what the arbiters were saying, but the secondary camera was like right behind him and it was showing the desk and on top of the desk, and like I had this little thing on top of my desk that I'm supposed to put books, but I put the cat. And he was sleeping up there all the tournament pretty much, and I would like play with his paws middle of the game or like pet him a little, which was really good. Like that was a really positive thing. And so if you have a cat, make sure to that if he stays quiet, to use his cuteness during the tournament. But okay, so that was a really funny thing for me, that I've never actually played with two cameras. So the first time I had a weird setup. But like after that, the setup got better. I got a laptop from the club, and my greenish camera also got better. So yeah, that was a funny first day. But yeah, I'm very glad with my tournament. I think it went pretty well. I can't imagine it having gone any better. But full disclosure, for those of you who have already seen the games and know how it went on, the round before the last one, the game against Thalia, when it ended in a draw, I started crying because I knew I was winning. I knew I was lost in that first, and then I was winning, and I couldn't win it. And I kind of knew if I won it, I would still not get first, but it would still be more competitive. So I was very under pressure on that, and I started crying, and I don't know if that showed up on the camera or there's a weird footage of that for somewhere in the truck. But yeah, that happened. So if you are a crier, join the club. But yeah, and then after that, when I was like sobbing to my mom, she was like, why are you crying? Even if you lose your last round, you're tied for third. And I was like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'm gonna stop crying. Yeah, so that was a little background story on the games, on the whole tournament as well. All right, so I'm just going to show you some of the really cool ones that I liked, because we're not going to go over every single one of them. I did go over them a little bit on Twitch channel. If you are interested, I'm sure you can find that on Friday. So also, I know that's probably Hebrew. I do not speak it, unfortunately. I think it's a very cute language that I know nothing about. Alright, so I want to show you my first, let's, probably should go the other way. Okay, I'm still a newbie on Lichess. Just, the chess websites keeps on switching and switching. Yeah, I did have, Thalia was a rough one. Yeah, I could have easily lost that game. She could have easily beat me. She could have easily beat Crush. So Thalia is a very, very tough opponent. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Aram. I'm glad to see you here. All right, so I want to show you, whoa, that's a new setup here. The first game that I had against Sabina, because that was kind of a defining moment for me, because so last time I played this championship, I didn't really have the best tournament. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So my goal playing this tournament was just to finish. No, it wasn't my goal to be in top 3. I didn't even dream of it, if I'm being honest. I just wanted to end up somewhere between like 5 to 8. I thought if that happens, that's perfect. I just wanted to be like in the middle, because well, there are many other players here who are much better chess players than me, and they're much more devoted to chess than me. So one of the big revelations I had this year, and I realized that I'm talking a little too much, was that I watched a lot of Eric Rosen's videos, and he's such an awesome personality. I really enjoyed how everybody had this positive view of him, that he doesn't say what he doesn't like. He doesn't lie about his dreams. He doesn't say, oh, I want to be a grandmaster, I want to be like in top 5 in the world. He doesn't say stuff like that, when most other chess players do. And so I realized, oh, why? Because before that, I used to be like, yeah, most likely at some point I was playing it a little safe. So yeah, I thought that was a big lesson for me. So I guess a little thank you to him as well. But okay, so let's get to some chess. I believe this game was the one against Sabina, the first round. Yeah. So in this specific tournament, I had a bunch of games who I was already kind of out prepared within the first 5 moves, but this was not one of them, surprisingly. So full disclosure, I used to be Elshan's student back in 2011-12, So I kind of have an understanding of how he thinks to prepare for someone, and since they are engaged, I assumed that, well, of course he would help her prepare, and also with an understanding of her games. I kind of expected London, because I'm supposed to be an easy one to beat, so she wouldn't want to play these boring, dry lines when I play super boring, dry stuff. So she wouldn't want to go into that. So she would want something sharp. And that's why she played this London, and I fully expected this. And I had prepared this specific line with bishop d6. So the whole idea with bishop d6 is, it's not that hard. I just want to play e5, man. That's all I want to do. And however, I was not really prepared for this queen e2 idea. And up here, I realized, well, if I don't do knight e4, she's gonna play knight e4, and I really don't want to deal with that. So, lazy chess. Yeah, so London could get pretty sharp actually, and the way I have games in London, the games that I have in database on London, they are pretty different. So I think that was her preparation. She expected me to be surprised by her London and play what I know already, so I would get into her preparation. But instead, I kind of had a feeling she was going to play London. I prepared something else, and then we ended up in my preparation. So I guess that's how it went. And so I know that here there are possibilities of like taking and then playing something like c5 or so. But I really didn't want to deal with e4. Another thing is, this is a pretty, it's not a very easy thing for me to say, but in all girls tournament activity is, for most girls, women, having that piece activity is very crucial. Like if you give me a position that I like and I'm active in, I'm gonna play like a 2400. But if you give me a position that I actually have to use my skills and my chess understanding and I can't just attack, then my rating goes down to 2200. So that's kind of why I think that's true with lots of the women, which is very sad, and that's I think why there's this huge rating gap, that chess understanding, because attacking is usually easier than actually finding the right move when both players are playing well. But again, don't quote me on that because it's a very painful thing to say. Anyways, so this was another idea to do, but I really didn't want to deal with the e4 stuff. The London has a bad... I don't think so. I don't think London has a... Whoa. I keep clicking on 0. I don't think London has a bad reputation. I think any opening can have a bad reputation in really high-level chess, but this was not a very high-level chess. It was a very good-level chess, but Sabina and I are both similar in rating, so... I have not watched the Queen's Gambit. Do not give me spoilers. I do want to watch it, but I have to get my studying back on track. That is what I plan to do next week, the next weekend. Well, actually, this upcoming weekend. Okay, so let me just get a little going with this game. Ooh, wow! I didn't know we just had this setup. Huh. Okay, so as I just mentioned, I need active position. I need an attack. So obviously f5 was the first thing I thought about, when knight d2 should be the first thing I think about. So I just feel like that's the whole concept of it really shows how you can play better in the positions that you like better. So f5. I don't think too many grandmasters would choose this move, but good thing I wasn't playing with one. To me, f5 was very natural because I'm going to castle, and I'm going to try and get this knight up here. I'm going to try to create some sort of attack. Yeah, kind of like that. I believe so, Liam. I didn't really like the idea that I could give white the chance to play e4, and I was not really going to go for that. So I simply got myself into this position. I believe this is a very decent position for black. I've played Dutch, so it doesn't really feel like that because I always play it with e5, f5 and e5, but it's a very interesting position nevertheless. So I got to this position. All right, so right now I want to do a little questionnaire. Do you guys want to be white or black? And potentially why? Black has better space, but that e4 pawn could become problematic in long run. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I think you're correct, Liam. I don't think white is necessarily better or worse. I do think that both sides have a good fighting chance, but I do like the activity for black because if I could kick this knight away, if I could somehow throw in a b5 and get this file, then that would actually be pretty active. And that's what I went for. I brought the rook, I kicked the knight, and so in this position, actually, from what I understand, black is doing fine. But you have to be very cautious because you have to actually find accurate moves as black. And surprisingly, the best move, I believe it's queen a6 or queen b6. So my idea was I just want to double up the rooks. And in order to do that, I can't just play rook c7 because this pawn will fall. The rook takes, queen takes, and the pawn will fall, right? So I can't really do that. So I have to play it a little smarter. So the same way I was just telling you guys my lovely lazy chess. I kind of avoided calculations and I was like, okay, so the problem is that my pawn is weak, so let's defend the pawn. But this was actually a blunder. Can somebody tell me why? And in order to actually find the reason, you actually have to calculate, and that is why I missed it. So what do you guys think? White to move. How can you punish black for playing a6? And while you're thinking, I'm gonna vent a little about me pulling my first all-nighter studying of the year, of the semester. Yeah, I underestimated how much studying I had to do for my today's cancer biology exam. So I pulled an all-nighter. I actually took a 2-hour nap at the chess room in St. Louis University because I was studying there. And it was painful. My back kind of hurts. But the exam went pretty decent. I think should be fine. But yeah, first all-nighter of the semester. So I actually don't see anybody saying the exact move. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I do want to get to other games. Am I a psychology major? Surprisingly, no. I do appreciate psychology, but I'm a little bit more into the actual science of it. Not that psychology isn't a science. I just feel like I need to see things. Ooh, thank you. Whoa, Liam, nice. Okay, good job. Yeah, basically take, or it's safer to take over here first, and then take over here, and then queen g4, and I would be pretty whooped. Because I can't really get out of this position. I've lost the pawn already. And my rook is defenseless, my knight is defenseless, and to be honest, these are my nightmare positions. I try my best not to have defenseless pieces. So this position, I completely missed knight e4, and luckily for me, so did she. She played h3. I don't really understand the idea behind h3, I guess to avoid knight g4s. And here I made another lovely mistake. Oh, well, all right. Here I made another lovely mistake, and I simply played rook c7. I was just following my plan. I just wanted to play rook c7, rook c8, and double up. If you do knight e4, I don't think knight e4 is wrong because even knight e4, I think knight e4 take I think it should be the exact same thing, actually. Unless there's a take. I don't think take is well either, because then you just simply lose the activity of this file as well. Yeah, I don't think there is a much difference, actually. Ooh. Markin, I have not, but that sounds like a very, very interesting book to read. So, okay, A6, H3. Apparently, according to computer, H6 was better. I do not know why. I can only... why can't he do the same thing? Oh, I have knight G5. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I'll just have knight G5, and knight G5 is defending this, and voila. Now this is winning for black. White just gave up the piece for no reason. Ah, smart. Okay, so if I actually saw knight E4 in the game, I would most likely see H6 as well. Because if you have seen any of my streams, you kind of know my thought process, that I don't... again, like, I'm not exactly the sharpest when it comes to calculation, but when I spot something, I can, like, if I see the problem, I can easily find the solution. So if the problem is that the knight and the pawn are hanging and I don't have knight G5, H6 is the move that makes sense. So, alright, H3, Rook C7, oh boy, and I won this? Yeah, I had very, very generous opponents. I'm not gonna lie about that. They were very friendly. They kept giving me chances to win. So in this position, I remember I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna play a boring queen d7, because queen d7, queen goes to c2, and I'm already worse. Jasper, women and men already do compete in the same tournaments, so the problem isn't that women can't play as good as chess as men. That's not the problem. Because when you put a 2400, 2200 woman next to a 2200 man, that 2200 woman usually have much more chess understanding than the 2200 man, because well, she works more on chess, because in women's, that 2200, 2300 is a higher world ranking than that 2200 man. So in the same rating category, I do believe that women are usually a little bit more educated, but the problem is that, for example, you look at the US Championship, the average rating of the top 10 is different. That's why women don't exactly play in the high-level men tournaments. It's not that because they're women, because the chess level is less, and that is very painful to actually say out loud. And exactly, thank you, Liam. Less women play chess, so yeah, I agree with that. If you look at the statistics, I saw this on FIDE that posted that like 10% of all chess players are female, and I was like, well, that sounds lovely. So you can see the problem easily. Oh, and thank you. Yeah, thank you, Owen. All right, so queen f7, my idea in this position was that, okay, well, I gotta go after her king, because I'm not gonna win in this file. She already has that file. If I keep fighting for that, I'm gonna lose really horribly. So I played queen f7, knight a5. I think knight a5 was a little too chill. She should have played a little more aggressively. And after knight a5, at this point, I was just like, okay, so I have two choices. I can either channel my brother and play g5, or my teammates who are a big fan of g5s, or I can channel my inner logic and be like, okay, so you gotta play here, my inner defense, and just play like rook c8 and just sit there and try for a draw. And I was just like, yeah, I want to play g5, especially because this tournament specifically was a chill tournament for me up until like when I cried the round before the last, because, well, I didn't really expect much from myself, and I just was trying to have fun, and g5 looked more interesting than queen d7, and so I went for g5. I don't exactly recommend that to always play for fun, but yeah, that was kind of my my way of in this tournament. It kind of paid off. But again, every single one of the games that it could have gone completely different way. I don't know Susan or Judith personally. I was very angry at him. I had 1 minute and the furry fluff kept just jumping on and off. I had 1 minute. I was so scared he was gonna like walk on the laptop and do a move for me. Alright. So I think rook d6 was her last mistake. Again, you see, if I don't think here Sabina was being objective, because if she was, she wouldn't really take on d6, because again, because I'm supposedly a easier opponent to beat. I think that's why she played this, because this is not what the actual position needs. It's not what her position is actually telling her. So I feel like that was her mistake, that she underestimated me. And I would really love to get her opinion on that, but I think I'm gonna wait maybe a few weeks before I contact my opponents who I beat. Anyways, here, according to what Engine said, f3 or f4 or g5 or queen c2 were some of the ways that white could have tried to get away from this attack, because my idea is pretty simple. Again, you see, there's not much calculations. Exactly, they were all giving me opportunities. Exactly. So, whoops, not with that pawn. I want to take here. I want to play queen h5, and I'm gonna go wild. So I don't exactly know how I was gonna find the mate, but I knew that's where my next two moves. So after she took on d6, that move already felt very wrong. Again, I didn't have every single move calculated when I take on g4, but I knew that this knight all the way over there and this rook all the way over there, it's like they're in like Disney World and I'm there trying to deal with real life stuff. Exactly, rook d6 was a terrible blunder, which I don't think, again, she would have done if she was playing anyone else. And so, and that's my idea, to just get checkmate. Okay, this is also, I'm gonna share my thought process with you after king f1. It was a very interesting way. Now, so up until this point, okay, I knew I was better, but I did not exactly believe that I was winning, just because I haven't actually, last time we played with Sabina, it ended in a draw, and she's like a defending champion from 2017, so she has already won this tournament when I haven't. Last time I played, I don't want to talk about it. It wasn't a pretty tournament. So right here, the little bit of psychology behind it, I started thinking, okay, so what does my position have? And I didn't really have that much time on my clock. I was simply trying to figure out what's the easiest way to play this, because if I play rook f2, I don't really want to get into that position, because, I mean, it looks better. I have a queen against the rook and a knight, but it didn't exactly feel that winning. I think the biggest problem was that, again, I didn't completely trust that I could win that, and I didn't want her to get away with it. So I started thinking, what else can I do? And I realized queen h5 looks pretty interesting. Queen h5, king e1, check, queen f1, and at this point I did not find the best move, so I gave up on my calculations. Thank you, Ben Simon, for that description. I completely zoned out of that conversation. But at this point, not queen h5, my thought process was, okay, what about check? Let's think about check. So knight h2, if the king goes to g1, I have perpetual. And then I said I have perpetual. I remember I was talking to myself. I was like, wait, but if I give check, that's not a perpetual. King goes to there, it's checkmate. And if check, king g1, check, king goes back to f1, I can just have queen h5, so that wins. And then I started thinking about a perpetual, and then I landed in, oh, but that's mate. So that's kind of I think that was a little embarrassing, because I knew I was winning, but I was still like, a part of me was still not believing it. So I did this knight h2, and it's if king goes to e1, queen takes g2. It's a easy peasy. I want to do knight f3 type of deal, or just queen g1, rook f2. So here she played f1. Okay, now I knew I was definitely winning because I just take it over here, attacking the queen. You got. I thought if you take, well, that's also easy. Queen f2, and I was like, okay, so I can take it, and then I can give check, and I can push, or I can just play knight g4 and be a little mean. So I did that, and she resigned here. It was a very, it was like, I think this game was the defining game for me, because if I started off with a loss, I don't know if I would come back from that exactly. But so it's really important how you start your tournament. At least in this tournament for me was very important. Yeah, I don't exactly understand the idea of knight a5 either. I don't think the knight belongs on a5. Alright, I really want to talk about my last game as well. Oh, let me just show you this little cute position that I gave up my lovely knight. I'm just showing you the final position. So I'm just showing you that even if you blunder, you are still capable of playing good chess. Maybe just not in that game. So in this game, right now it's black to move. I was playing Emily. She played rook a8. And I was like, okay, so I had enough time on my clock. I was like 10 I had 10 minutes or something, almost 10 minutes or something. And I knew that my position is not very great because of this pawn, and because the, well, knight b4 is coming, and then the other knight will jump here, and I didn't exactly love my position. But so the one move that I was probably not supposed to do was knight c6, and guess what? I did it. Exactly. The thing was with knight c6, I thought you take, I have knight takes c7, knight takes c7, and I have rook b8. I thought I was going to b8, not to c8. Because the previous move, my rook was on b1, and I played the rook to c1. So just wanted to show this awesome blunder, and just to give you a little bit of hope that if you have weird games, you still can make it back. Alright, now let me show you the actual good games. This game was awesome. I think this game was one of my masterpieces. I really enjoyed this game. So this is the game against Anna Zatonskih. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I do want to get to the game that I had against Tatev as well. But in this game with Anna Zatonskih, she's such a nice person and such a great chess player. And so I've already lost her once before, so it wasn't exactly my my top choice to play her. I couldn't really do anything about it though. So I looked at her openings before the game, obviously, and I knew, I kind of like saw that, okay, she played this line a few times, and I had a feeling she was going to play something with either queen d7 or either b6, because she had moves, she had some games like that. So queen d7, I knew what I was doing. I'm not gonna downplay it. I had prepared this, even to a little extent. So I knew that, okay, I'm gonna get the queen to g3, and I knew that this knight belongs to f4. I don't think that's very hard to actually figure out. Oh, thank you, Kevin. So I think that was a very interesting choice. You say that now, but this game was not boring, man. I'm gonna show you. So how was my winning rate with white versus black? That's a good question. So I beat Sabina with black. I beat Annie Wang with black, and I believe I beat Tatev, Jennifer, and Anna with white. So yeah. Thank you. That's very nice of you. A lot of great positivity in the chat. Thank you, Daniel, and NJM. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. I do appreciate your message though. Where is the live chat? I mean, the live chat is here. Yeah, I was impressed with my own game, man. So, I actually really wanted to show this. So, before the game, when I was looking at this position, my preparation, well, my files, let's just say, because I wasn't actually actively looking up lines, just the things I had in the file, was like, okay, the knight has to go back to b8 to play like knight f4. There is this like wild line here or something like that. I believe this was something. And then the queen goes to g6, and then there's a long, like this was one of the lines that it was mentioned in the book, but I don't think this actually holds that much for black either. But it was just interesting to look at it. Anyways, so I kind of knew that I had this idea of knight f4, knight e6 up my sleeve, but then she long castled, and I was like, well, long castle, the only way I can form any sort of attack is to push this pawn to a5. So let's first do that. a4, a5. Well, I gotta take this because if I play a6, that doesn't make any sense. And now, I believe this was I think here I started thinking, should I play bishop a3 first? Whoops. And then play bishop d6? And then I realized that I really, really, really don't want to deal with this knight on c4. Carlos, I think so. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, do I follow a certain diet? Yes, I forget to eat, and then I binge on a lot of food, and then I go into food comas. That has been happening a lot. I need to fix that. But okay, so in this position, I kind of wanted to touch up on this idea a little bit because, well, if black gets knight c4, black is kind of holding the position. So as white, you have to make a decision. Do you actually care about this rook that much, or do you want to attack? And my thought was like, I really don't know how to kick this knight off c4, and I really don't want to get into an unpleasant position, so let's take it. And I'm not kidding you, that was exactly the way I thought of, let's take it. And then I was like, well, this is this is interesting. So I got a lot of feedback. Thank you for your donation. That's very nice of you. It was a very great tournament, thank you. I was talking to one of my private students, he's such a cute kid, and I was showing him this game, and I asked him, so do you want to take it? And he was like, yeah, I'll probably take it. And then I asked him, so what is your next move? Because I wanted to see if the moves I was doing was like a super grandmaster level, or was it understandable level, because to me these were normal moves. And then this kid is also about 1200, and he was like, well, I gotta do something with my bishop, maybe let's go to g5. And I said, but if bishop g5, there's knight e7. I was like, yeah, you're right, let's get this bishop to d6, get the rook to b1, let's do this checkmate. That was an easy, like my 1200 kid saw it, so let's get that bishop there. But now I have a new target, like just looking at this king and queen. My first is like my I watched a lot of cartoons growing up, and right now, like this would be the moment that that cartoon character would get like the dollar sign in his eyes, but not exactly dollar signs. I would get like a horse sign in my eyes with like knight. I just want to get this beautiful knight to c5. And I believe she made a mistake here with playing knight h6, but I didn't really feel like that was a mistake in the game. I kind of knew that knight on h6 isn't doing much anyways. How would you deal with that pawn on c3? I'm going to play c4 and I'm going to get rid of it. Great question. Am I even reading the chat? I am. Why wouldn't I? If I wasn't going to read the chat, then that would kind of make this class pointless. So yeah, at this point I realized, well, I think knight d3 is also a pretty nice move, but then the king kind of goes to a8 and I can't really reach it. So that's why I was like, well, all of my pieces have a purpose except for this queen, because if I play knight d3, then my queen can't get in, and I can't really play queen d3 right now, because then where am I going with my queen? So I think this was where c4 made sense. And I only calculated as much as c4. If take, I do rook b1. king, if king a8, there's queen f3, and I thought if king goes to a6, well, the king on a6 looks pretty weird, should be mate soon. And yeah, I was really lazy calculating. So take, check, king went to a6, and here I was like, oh wait, I have knight d3. And I think knight d3 was a very, very interesting move. Woo, knight e6 instead of c4. I'll get to that in a second. Knight d3 was a very interesting move because if you take, well, I'm just going to do checkmate in like 2 moves. Let me check this idea with knight e6. Huh. But what is your purpose? Because queen takes, and I guess queen g7 is what you're going for, but there's like a knight f7. Even if there was no knight f7, the queen is defending h6. Even if the queen wasn't defending h6, it doesn't really go to the same pathway that I was going. Like, I'm taking all my pieces to the queen side. Don Diego, I do respond to the YouTube chat. When I see comments and questions, I'll definitely respond. Why not? Why else am I sitting here? 96 after the king has moved. Well, oh, you guys just want to sacrifice for the sake of it. That's what I was trying to do too, but just like the right way, you know. I'm not just shooting out sacrifices, like the cute ways, like kind of like catch me if you can style, because well, that would be a lovely checkmate. I think this would be so beautiful. Yeah, I do have to close the deal if I'm running out of pieces. I can't just keep giving stuff up. And right now I wanted to checkmate in 1, knight c5. So I got a lot of very lovely comments on like saying like how great I played, and I was like, especially on this game with Zatonskih, and I didn't know how to say. I was just trying to do checkmate in 1s. I don't think that would have been very professional. Yeah, so knight d3, well, yeah, I think knight d3 comes with just like trying to constantly question yourself, and I have gotten pretty good at questioning myself, maybe a little too good. So yeah, after this, now I have a new target. I want to take queen somehow on c4. That's my next move. That's my next idea. And so now, what else are we gonna do? Well, let's go for another checkmate in 1. And it was interesting because when I was talking to Alejandro Ramirez is my coach, my team coach from St. Louis. He's also a very dear friend of mine. He's such a nice character. He's always happy, always smiling. Maybe not today, but he's overall a very positive personality. A very positive person, and he was telling me you did that I played perfect moves for like 10 moves in a row, and I was like, well, it was all threatening mate in 1s. I don't think there is any better move than threatening mate in 1. So that was a very funny thing. Why did you play queen a4? Well, I was threatening mate in 1. I wasn't kidding when I said I'm threatening mate in 1s. Yeah, so after here, rook c7. Guys, you are really in a mood to give up every single piece, aren't you? So rook c7, it was a very interesting idea because, well, my bishop is kind of not really doing anything here anymore, so I had to kind of compromise and figure out what I want to do with this bishop. And then I saw this idea of bishop d6, maybe queen b8, queen c8. So I played this bishop d6, and then I realized, well, even if I play queen b8, it's still a pretty, I still am much better, but queen c6, and the queen is still kind of taking over my position, and I didn't like how this queen is defending all of these squares, and I didn't really see how to win that. Guys, bishop a7 is not a good move. Bishop a, actually, it's doable, but the problem isn't that it takes it. The problem is that queen comes to c6. So we don't want to give black chances. If you have been with me for some of our lectures, you probably have heard me just saying that I want to annoy the opponent and I don't want to give my opponent the chance to escape. So if you give black like 2 moves, black is gonna play like a queen back to c6, and is gonna start bringing this knight back and start defending. So you can't just chill and just, you can't. You have to play actively. You have to constantly have threats. And what better threat than I'm coming after your rook? And d5 is such a great move. It takes away all of the queen c6 ideas, right? I don't think queen b6 was the winning move. I think d5 here is another winning move, but bishop d6 is the best idea, followed up with d5. And the thing is that, well, I want to take over here, and then your rook actually has nowhere to go. So that's the fun about it. Well, maybe not for Anna, but this was the whole point, that your rook doesn't have anywhere to go. And even if you take, I still have another pawn, e6. And now when you move this rook, so I think something like, I don't think black can get out of this. Engine is not also giving me much to work with in this position. Well, you can't take because, haha, checkmate. You can't really move the rook anywhere in this line because I will take it. There was nowhere that queen b6 was working, guys. What if Anna tried to trade queens? I think that would have been a reasonable way to do it, but you can't do that. The bishop is on b4 protecting. I got a question about difference between why women and men play in different categories. I already mentioned that before, because it's not because women play worse chess than men. It's because in the same level, like you look at the 2300 woman, 2300 man, that 2300 woman usually have more chess knowledge. Well, same age, let's go with same age as well. But the problem is that less women play chess. Actually, 1 out of 10, it's like 10 men, 1 woman, the ratio actually in the world. So if you look at the rating averages, I would say that the rating average for US Women Championship, I don't have the exact, but I'm gonna guess like maybe 2350. For men, it would be more like 2600, 2650. So that's why it's not, that's why it wouldn't be a fair tournament. So yeah, so I think that this was a very pretty game, and I mean, just queen b8. I'm not gonna give any chances, and I believe she resigned here because, well, the rook is falling. No, actually, queen b2 was the easiest play because queen b2. I'm just shattering mate in 1. If rook a1, the problem is that again you're giving your opponent chances to fix the position. Queen b5. And then what are you going to do? Your rook is kind of misplaced and the king can't run away. There was a question on queen d5, but then again the queen is misplaced because now I can actually go for queen b2 with idea queen b5 checkmate. Even if queen c6, now I can just go the other way. I remember I looked at this in the game. It was a very interesting few minutes to just imagine different mate in ones. And you can't really go there anymore because just queen a4. See, if you go back, you lose c4. If not, b5 is falling. So this was another lovely game that I played that I got such a great comments about it. Very proud of it. I want to really quickly show you the position Alright, I'm just going to show a very tiny position that I had against Thalia. She's a very dear friend of mine. Besides all the horrible mistakes that I made. So in this position, actually this got really funny because I was trying to mate her, haha. And she made a mistake and I actually got a better position and I messed it up. So this is the game that I told you that I cried after because I should have taken, check, the king goes away and king e5, and I should be able to win this endgame. But I played c5 first, and then I got myself into this endgame with the bishop versus 2 pawns, and we saw how dangerous this can be actually. I think this was a game that Sovesley won against Lenderman yesterday. I might be wrong, so please feel free to check that and correct me. But anyways, I made a mistake and I got myself into this endgame, and I missed my chances to win as well. Also, I had very few seconds on the clock anyways. But yeah, this got sad. Here, like, I should have played king e7, but anybody who knows me knows that I'm not exactly the best when it comes to theoretical chess. I'm very good at practical chess. So, yeah. Oh, that was a sad point. Alright, let's just, I want to talk about the game against Tatev, because that was a very good game. She was very generous and gave me a lot of opportunities. I think she kind of had to, because she had to play for win, because if she won, we would be tied for third, but if she didn't win, then even if we drew, I would have sole third. So I guess it was a situation for her that winning, like drawing or losing, didn't make a difference, so she was going all in. But I would really like to get her point on this. I'll probably not contact any of my opponents besides liking their pictures on Instagram and Facebook for a while. I'll give them maybe a week or two. Yeah. Alright, so this game, anybody who knows Tatev does not play knight f6. So the day before this, she actually played this bishop b4 line. And on a different day, not today because I'm already probably going to run a little bit late, we are going to talk a little deeper about the French opening, and I might show you what I have prepared in this line. I don't think I'm playing Tatev again for a while, so should be fine. I can spill my preparations. So yeah, bishop g5, bishop b4 is what she usually plays pretty much all the time. But in this game, she played knight f6, and I was like, huh, either she has some really deep preparation or she really takes me for an idiot. I would like to think it was the first one, but I don't think I'll never know. So we got into this position. And as I just mentioned, I didn't really know what to do. I don't have that much of a big, I don't really have that much of a theoretical foundation when it comes to openings or endgames. Oh God. Well, I mean, when I don't play competitive chess as much, it kind of gets a little dusty. So I mean, I know that the general ideas, but I don't know exactly the best moves to do, the most common moves that people do. I do know that knight f3 is the most common one, but I didn't really want to go for that because I thought she would know it better than I did. So I just went queen d3. So anybody who has seen my game against Irina knows that I did that as well when I didn't know what to do against her. So I just played queen d3. Queen d3 is a fun move to play. When you don't know what to do, put your queen on d3. It always works out. I am reading the chat, and there is a question about, can opponents be friends? Well, I don't really see me and Tatev as opponents, or me and Thalia, because I don't play competitive chess. So they don't really have to see me as like a danger. Actually, let me rephrase that after this tournament. But I mean, I don't really have that much chess goals in mind. I'm not thinking about winning the US Championship next year, or like doing this, doing that. So I don't know. Okay, so I don't want to keep you guys longer, so I'm just gonna talk a little faster, and I might be ignoring the chat purposefully for some reasons. Alright, so in this position, in this game, I think it was a very interesting way to continue because I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do long castle. I'm probably going to throw in an f4 and just put this knight on e5. And we'll see what happens next. So that was kind of my idea. And Tatev, oh, this is funny. According to the engines, f4 was a weird move because she should have played b5 here. Ah, yeah, makes sense. Because b5, b4, then your knight is on b6. If I go knight a4, you have a decent attack. But I think I confused her with f4. and she just went knight f6, which was not the best move. I think b5 or queen c7 would be more logical. The knight on f6 isn't really doing much, to be honest, and knight f3, she played b5. Well, here, keep in mind that in this tournament, at this point in the tournament, this is the last round, and I already had the knowledge that even if I lose this game, I'm still tied for third, and I was kind of very happy inside about it. But then I hadn't. This is the game that my cat was being little beep, and he wasn't very calm, and as he was before, and he was just constantly meowing and asking for attention and jumping up and down, and so anyways, this is that famous cat game, if you want to refer to that. And so when Tatev played b5, like I remember I was like, oh god, she's starting her attack, because Tatev also has a very specific style, and this position is not her style. She likes to attack, she likes to get tactical, she likes to have a good active game. So do I. And this wasn't her game. This was a very poor choice of opening from her side. Whoever prepared her, I don't think that was the best way to go. But again, it was a very life or death situation for her, because either she would win and she would be tied for third, or she would draw or lose and I would get third. So my cat is a he. Okay, so oh yeah, my cat knew all the moves with meowing. That was I really wish that was true. I wish I could actually understand my cat. Besides the fact that when he meows, I know he's annoyed at me. How can you play practical chess? Ooh, I don't know how to answer that, honestly. It came as with maturity for me and with laziness that I did not want to calculate. So in this position, she went for b4. I mean, I have only one choice. I gotta put that knight on a4. Queen d5. Well, it wants to take, wants to take a2. So again, I have two choices, either king b1 or b3. I think actually king b1 was a better choice, but I went for b3 because I wanted to keep some room open for my knight. My cat is a GM at being cute. That is true. So after b3, she played queen e4. I remember in this position, I spent so much time thinking whether or not I should take it, whether or not I should like play somewhere with the queen, like what should I do, because as I told you before, endgames are not my strongest suit. I don't feel as comfortable in endgames as I do when my queens are on the board, the queens are on the board. So I think that's why it was such a hard choice for me to make, and I just played queen d2. Because again, as I just said, unless you really force me, I'm not gonna exchange queens, man. We exchange queens, well, you already have advantage. So queen d2, knight d5, and here I actually apparently made a mistake. I took knight takes c6. Computer says that g3 was the best move, but I did not feel it over the board. I actually not think about g3 in this position. Oh wait, actually that's not correct. I thought about g3, and I thought about bishop, something like with like bishop d3 or something. And I thought this was an interesting choice, but I wanted to try to see. I actually have no idea why I didn't do that. Ha. I have absolutely no idea why I did not play g3. Maybe I didn't like queen e3. Huh. But queen e3, can't I just take it over here? Well, bishop b7, and then this gets funky. Huh. Interesting. As you can see, I have not really checked this game before with the... I knew that g3 was suggested, but anyways. So my thought process in the game was, okay, I'm going to take this. If you take queen f4, now that's the one in the game I can't play. That's actually, that looks pretty good. It doesn't present too many issues. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have taken. this was what I was going for. I wanted to have this knight against the bishop, and I would do like a g3, get the bishop out. I thought this was a decent position. So after knight c6, she made an inaccuracy and she played bishop d6. She should have taken over here. After bishop d6, I had already calculated this. Haha, surprise. I managed to calculate a little. I knew I was going to play g3, and if take, I'm going to definitely play bishop b5. And after that, well, the queen e4 seems to be the only move. So I knew where I was going for. So I knew up until this position. And I remember I spent a great deal of time when I was planning g3 thinking about this position, because rook e1, I realized if I play rook e1, there is bishop f4. Apparently, bishop f4 is not the best move for black. Black has an a6 or something. I don't know about that. But I just saw bishop f4, and I realized I do not want to get into this position. However good this looks, nope, nope, nope. So I had to figure out how to stop it, and then I figured out, okay, knight e5 check, you move the king, then I have rook e1. So it was a matter of that's just figuring out the right move order. And it was kind of funny, because if you look at you don't see the time, I think, but right now on my clock I had 3 minutes and 25 seconds, and when I chose to play knight e5, I had like 3 minutes and 49 seconds, so I made that choice within like 20-ish seconds. And also, when I played the move g3, I went from 8 minutes to 3 minutes and 49 seconds. So I'm saying this because I'm trying to show you that I had already calculated, that I had already set my mind on g3, queen takes h1, bishop b5 pretty immediately, knight e5 pretty immediately, and then rook e1. So I had already had this move sequence in my mind, because I got some questions that were like, so why did you spend so much time on g3? And I was like, because I was actually calculating for once. All right, I'm gonna stop with trying to discourage you from calculating. Okay, so she played knight c3, and I realized, well, if I take it, the knight takes, and the knight's attacking my queen, and I really don't want to calculate, especially because I had only 3 minutes on my clock. So I just played bishop c6. Oh, I wanted to also mention this. If you actually go back and watch the actual commentary on YouTube, so I was doing this thing. I don't know if it's a good idea for everybody or not, but I wanted to see my opponent's faces. So I had this like little setup that's so we were using Skype and Zoom. So I had like Zoom set up on the right side, and I had Skype set up on the left side. So I continuously look to see how my opponents are doing. And full disclosure, one of my opponents was sharing her screen, so I could kind of see that. And I saw that like she was touching like trying to play like a queen somewhere. I think that was with Krisa. Might be wrong, but I remember that. So I was trying to be a little have a little fun with the camera angles for myself. So I saw that when I played this move g3, Tatev was eating something, and on Skype I saw her face went, oh, and I was like, ooh, I got you. And yeah, so I don't know if that's a good idea for everybody. I don't think everybody likes to actually analyze their opponents, but I liked it and I wanted to do it. So anyways, here I knew that I had a better position, and so I kind of wanted to just try to maximize it. And bishop c6 looked the part. Bishop c6, I'm attacking your queen. You gotta take this, and I'm attacking your rook, and I'm gonna win your pawn. Sounds perfect to me. Okay, you're attacking my knight, gotta move it. Attacking my queen, gotta move it. And I wanna have one move threats. My lovely one move threats. Still one move threats. And I knew that I'm much better here, but I had like 40 seconds on my clock, and I was deeply, deeply trying to avoid calculating. Like, you have no idea how much I was trying to run away from calculating. And so I was like, if I take queen f6, the king goes up, I have check. But if the king goes to c8, then I probably don't have this, maybe queen c6. And I was just like, no, I don't want to calculate. So I just played d6. My thought process was d6. I'm leaving it up to you because I wanted to checkmate in one. So how do you want to get out of this? And she took it because, funny enough, if she goes king c8, it does not work because, well, if you move the king, your rook falls. If you move the rook, you get checkmated. So I really enjoyed this, the aspect of lazy chess. Maybe that should be the title of this video. How to play lazy chess. Well, this is actually super winning. You just have to not lose your knight, so you just have to throw in some checks, and save the knight. And she actually resigned here. And oh yeah, Ben Simon found that. This was not the exact. Thank you, Ben. But this wasn't the exact moment. This is when she resigned. My face. But yeah, that's G3 face, Tatev face was very, very interesting. This is the cat's picture, cat's image. Haha, video. I had 1 minute on the clock, and this son of a me just kept on coming and like that laptop over there is where the arbiter was seeing, and I didn't want the arbiter to think anything differently, even though of course I didn't place the cat there, but just I wanted to like have everything covered. So I was like, okay, cat, you gotta go. And yeah, that was a very cute thing, but if he made me lose this game, there would be no tuna for him for 2 weeks. Yeah, thank you. This was a very, very amazing event for me. Definitely one of my biggest chess accomplishments, at least in recent years, because I haven't really been playing competitive chess. But yeah, this was a very great event for me. I definitely owe it, at least to a very big extent, to the St. Louis Chess Club. Well, because first of all, they invited me, they organized the event, but second of all, the fact that they I've been teaching chess for them pretty much all through this year was a very, very, very helpful for me, just because you know how they say you don't know the material as well until you teach it. Well, that happened to me. I feel like I actually understand chess better and the different aspects that it does when I teach it. So I do love teaching, and apparently it does help my game. But also my opponents were very helpful. So I do believe that I was very lucky as well. So with that, I'm gonna go and celebrate a little bit. But thank you guys for watching my streams and being with me throughout all these events. Make sure to keep watching the Men's US Championship. That's going to be a fun one too. And all right, this was perfect. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your night.